Michael from Your Guitar Academy. In this video, I'm going to show you how to play Live Forever by Oasis. So pick up your guitar, let's get started. So first of all, let's look at the chord progression for the verse. On the verse, we need a G major, and we're going to play for 4 beats, whole bar. Then a D major, 4 beats again, A minor, 4 beats, and then we've got C for 2 beats, and then D major for 2 beats. If you struggle with the open chords, we've got a great course on that if you need. Now again, I'll be counting along, I'll just keep my right hand moving, but I'm not going to strum, just for you to follow the structure of the verse. So we go like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and D and 2 and 3 and 4 and A minor and 2 and 3 and 4 and C and 2 and D and 4. Then we're going to repeat that, and 2 and 3 and 4 and D and 2, 3 and 4 and A minor and 2 and 3 and 4 and C, 2, D, 4. Something I forgot to mention is, you may have seen that, I tend to play my G major like that, naturally with my pinky, let me move that over, pinky flat here. You're supposed to play it this way with 2 fingers, do that, that's perfectly fine. Right, so let's look at the strumming pattern. The strumming pattern is a bit weird because there's just so many layers of guitars, it's really hard to tell what's going on. The one I like to play on that song is this. So if I count along, just so you know, we're feeling 16th notes here. So if I count along, it would go 1 and 2 and a 3 E and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 E and 4 and a. So again, if it's the first time you're doing this, you know that. You don't know that, I'm going to tell you. The trick is to keep the right hand moving every time I say a number or and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that would be a whole bar. I'll count along again. Spot the right hand moving on the beats and the ands. 1 and 2 and a 3 E and 4 and a. Some people struggle with counting, and counting numbers and letters can be a bit tricky. I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to talk about the movements of the right hand, just for you to know what's going on. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Now this pattern fills a whole bar, 4 beats. That means on the first chord of the verse, we can play the whole pattern. Same thing on the next chord, D major. Same thing on that next A minor, a whole bar. But then we've got C and D that share a bar, so we're going to have to split that pattern in half and transition on beat number 3 from C to D. Now, of course, the transition is very quick. If I slow it down, you'll see that my fingers from C to D, my fingers are going to lift up and you're going to hear the open strings. But at the speed of the song and at the speed of the pattern, it actually adds a charm to it. It's completely fine. So if I do just C and D, spot right before I move on to D major, you'll see that my fingers are moving away and it's fine. Right, so keep on practicing that. It's a tricky transition, but you'll get there. Okay, let me play the whole verse. And we play that twice. And 2, a 3 E and 4 and a 1 and 2, a 3 E and 4 and a 1 and 2, a 3 E and 4 and a 1 and 2, a 3 E and 4 and a. Let me speed up just so you start hearing the song. Now we're getting getting into the right vibe. Something to practice. The pattern is definitely challenging, but as long as you got your right hand moving every time you say a number or and, you're safe. You can overstrum, you can understrum. It's up to you. As long as the right hand is on time, you'll be fine. Even if I play see, I completely changed it. We're still on time. We're still having the transitions onto the next chord when we need to, which is what we want, especially when you're playing with a band. Right, so that's the verse. Moving on to the chorus. So the chorus has different chords. We start with an E minor 9, sorry, not 9, E minor 7. So E minor 7 is the same chord you would see in Wonderwall. And actually, if you don't know this chord at all, if it's the first time you're seeing it, it's a chord Noel Gallagher uses a lot in his work, and we've got a course on Noel Gallagher that I can only recommend, so you should have a look at it, where you would learn all these little tricks he's using. But E minor 7 goes like this. We've got fingers 1 and 2 on fret number 2 of the A and D strings, and then fingers 3 and 4 on fret number 3 on the B and high E strings. It sounds like this. Beautiful chord. Again, I tend to play with my pinky flat on the last 2 strings. Sounds exactly the same, but if you see me do that, just know it's an E minor 7, the same you're playing. So we start with this chord and we're going to play it for 4 beats, same pattern. Moving on to D major, same pattern again, and a whole bar again, 4 beats. Then we've got A minor 7. Now, A minor 7, it's a scary name, but basically it's like an A minor, but you remove your ring finger. And we play that chord for 4 beats, a whole bar. And then we've got, again, the mighty C and D majors that share a bar together. So that's the first half of the chorus. Let me put everything together. So E minor 7, again, same pattern as before. D, A minor 7, and then C and D. That's the first half of the chorus. Second half of the chorus, we start the same way. So we've got E minor 7, a whole bar, D major, a whole bar again. Then we've got A minor 7, but instead of C and D, we're now playing an F9. Now F9, very scary name. I'm just going to walk you through the shape. So I've got my ring finger on fret number 3 of the D string, my middle finger on fret number 2 on the G string, my index finger on fret number 1 on the B string, so that would be an F. That's the triad. But then we add the pinky on the note G, which is fret number 3 of the high E string. And we're going to play that chord for 2 bars. So the second half of the chorus would go like this. And then F9. Now what I like to do on that F9, because it's such a special moment in the song, is I like to only go for downstrokes. We're playing it for 2 bars, so that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I feel like it's a good way to add dynamics to that song. So if I play that second part of the chorus, we've got E, D, A minor 7, and then F9, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Something I did on the band video is I actually played the lick. I think it's Noel Gallagher that's playing that on the record, and the lick goes like this. So what we do is, instead of strumming that F9 for 2 bars, we're going to remove that middle finger. The shape, the rest of the shape is the same, and we're going to play the D string, B string, G string, high E string, B string, and G string. So we get and the timing would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm counting it twice because we're playing it twice. We've got, remember, 2 bars, so 2 times 4 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's an option. If you're playing the song on that chorus, you could either go for that F9, especially if you're singing, or if you're just jamming along, playing that little lick there is really cool. Let me just play the whole chorus just so you've got the whole thing. And then C to D, second half. And after that we've got the lick. And back to the verse. Okay, let's move on to the outro. So on the band video you may have seen, I'm playing lead on it. I'm just going to show you the chords that the band was playing. So the band was playing an F major and an A minor. So F major, you could play a bar chord on fret number 1. I tend to play it with the thumb. Again, same thing. And then A minor, you could stay in this hand position and just jump to an open chord. And we've got 1 bar per chord. The strumming pattern is completely up to you. I would go for a lot of downstrokes, something like and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... So that's the outro, just these 2 chords. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now what I did on the leads is I didn't want to play exactly what was played on the record because it's quite long and it's hard to remember, but there's one lick I really liked and I want to show it to you. So we're in the key of A minor here, and what I did was this. So I start on fret number 3 with my ring finger on the A string, then fret number 2 on the same string. That I'm going to bend a little bit, just to add a little of tension. And then I release that tension by playing the root note, which is A. So when I say A, it's the open A string. The bend it's not a full bend, it's not a quarter tone, it's not a semitone bend, it's not even a quarter tone. I'm just adding a little bit of a color to it. And as that A string is ringing, I'm now going to move my hand position around fret number 5 and 7. So it's going to go. My ring finger is going to go, notice that A string is still ringing. My ring finger, sorry, is going to go on fret number 7 on the G string, and I'm going to go. So what I'm doing here, let's focus on the second half of that lead. Starting with my ring finger on fret 7 on the G string, I'm going to bend that string up. So notice I'm saying up and I'm bending down. You could bend up. The reason why I do that, so usually it's just a habit I've got, but on this song, remember the A string is ringing. If I bend up, there's a good chance I'm going to choke that string. So I would suggest here, try to bend down a little bit, just to see what it feels like. So we've got the A string ringing. I start with that bend on 7. I choke that bend, so I've got my pick landing back on the same string after the bend. Just so we're not hearing this. As it's choking, I'm now going to go back to the original position of the string and play 7 again. After that, I go to fret number 5 on the same string and 7 on the D string. So we've got. On the second part of it, I go back to fret number 5, notice my index finger was staying there because I knew I was going back there. And then we do the same thing again. So we've got. And then notice my index finger is again staying on fret number 5 because we're going to need that note again. So let me put everything together so far. So we've got. After that last 7 we've played on the D string, I'm going to go back to fret number 5, back to 7 on the D string, back to 5 with a little bend, and back to 7 to finish with. And we're in the key of A minor on that solo. Can you guess the name of that note here? The one we're finishing that lead on? It's the note A. So that's why that lead sounds so cool to me. It's like, it's such a cool It's just a really strong melody. I really like it. Anyway, so we've got. And I just looped that around. He's playing more than that. He's improvising a little bit in the key of A minor, so we would have shape 1 here, starting on fret number 5. But I really like that lick, so that's why I wanted to play that one. So again, try to visualize your shape number 1 of A minor when you're improvising on this, and you can definitely add more. You could go. Whatever you want. Have fun with it and listen to the record. I'm sure you're going to pick up some really good ideas as well. Have fun with that lead. It's a pretty cool part to play on the song, but carry on with the chords because the chords are absolutely epic and we want to be able to play the whole song. Have fun with it and I'll see you on the next video.